This is the first time. The first attempt. And it went. It's not completely all together, snugged up, but this is in place, that's in place, and my safety, the top button functions. If safety is off and I move this lever, it should push that safety back. Okay, I can't move the lever because I got wood in the way on top. That's okay, I'll get rid of that in a little bit. So now I'm going to try to put some pressure and drop this back down a little further in there. I know this will go down because I had it down a while ago. Okay, I've got to do a little more investigating. The top is recessed, I can feel it. The bottom's got to go a little bit further. I just need to put some pressure on it here and there. I've got room to go down, I can see it in the back hole. It is a process. I'm going to need to locate the hole that's in the top of this lug that goes up to the bolt, the middle bolt that holds it together, the middle screw, which is this one. And that's what puts enormous pressure and holds this thing together better than anything else, is that screw right there. That thing is on an angle. That thing slopes up. I can see it. It just slopes up a little bit. It comes in through here underneath your barrel release lever. That's where it comes in from. But anyway, to find that thing, I've got to find out where that hole will come into this place. And I have some little things I made, I don't know, 40 years ago. I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I made some little pieces of screws that I call them guide points. And this one looks like it might work. That will work. It's just a little piece of a screw with a little sharp point on the end of it, and I put that in there and leave that point sticking out just a little bit, and then when I set it down in that where I've milled that out, it'll leave me a little depression, a little mark. See, that thing will leave me a little center point. So I've got the top in, and the bottom, I believe I can slip it in if I can get this safety lever in the right place. If I can get it in, get it to line up, and then put a little pressure on that, it'll leave me a mark. I think it's raised up because it's sitting on that point. I think. And if that did its job, I should have a nice little mark in there. I do. Woo! I've got a pretty little mark in there. So that's where that hole starts. I'm going to have to mark where the top of this thing, where the other end of this hole is, and I can't move this lever over enough until I take off some of that wood. I've got to slice off a little bit of this wood, and it's kind of hard to get this thing to stay in place and do that. Not impossible, hard. I've just got to get rid of some of this that's sticking up here. It's not going to hurt anything for me to use this as a drilling guide. I'm going to start in from the top with the appropriate size bit, and I can stay in the middle of that hole, I believe. This bit is smaller than that bolt and that hole, so I've actually got to go ooch it a little bit back when I finish drilling that, but that gives me a good place to start. Now I've got to get the right size bit because this is smaller than the bolt. Just to confirm that that hole lines up, I set that bottom plate in and drop this screw in from the top. Yeah, it catches the threads. So that hole is lined up with the lug. Alright, very good. Just one step at a time, boys and girls, one step at a time. That's drawing that trigger guard, the trigger groove up very well, very nicely. It's not in its real place, it's not completely installed yet, but that thing just locked in there tight as Dick's hat band. That thing, when those two came together, and this has still got to be screwed in some more, that really locked it in. Now if my stuff works, my safety is on, the triggers are locked, and this button is very stiff. Matter of fact, it won't move, not with a thumb anyway. I don't want to hit it with a hammer. There's something restricting that thumb latch. This is pulled up tight. Right across here, that metal is pulled up tight. All around where this metal locks in to the receiver is pulled up tight. I'm probably too thick. I need to inlet this trigger tang further up in there because I know I left more extra wood than that. I mean, the wood's proud of it now, but it's not proud enough. And there's a slight gap, and I don't know why this is, but there's a slight gap over here on this metal. Between this metal and that metal, there's a little bitty gap. I don't know if that was like that to start with or not. Anyway, I got to figure out why the safety does not want to function. Now, I've got to get a measurement from the top of this metal to the bottom of this metal, and the wood is more proud than the metal. If you watch my last video on the Essex that I did, I made some little 1/4 inch spacer blocks. These are 1/4 inch thick each, and the two together are 0.5. Actually, they're 0.2 less than 0.5, but they're real close. 1/1000 less than 0.5. So if I add a 1/4 to this top one, first I have to move this safety out of the way. It's real stiff. I've got to figure out why that is. Now, where I measured from earlier was this. And I don't remember what that was. But anyway, I haven't changed it. That's from the back of the top to the back of the bottom, because the further you go up, these things spread apart. You have to measure right at the very back tip. That's the reason I made this one so tiny, so to get back to that back edge. This one has to go up against the trigger tang in the very, very back. And then from top to bottom, minus ½ inch, that tells me about how far away I am. Right now I've got 1.77. Take a half off of that is 1.37. No, 1.27. Take a half off of that, I got 1.27. So that's what I have, and this is what I need to be. And so I am about, really not that far off, about a 1/16 of an inch, give or take. I've got about a 1/16 more than what this needs to be. So I need to recess the bottom another 1/16. While I'm here, I'm going to just use this as a marking spot to mark this hole. That's a pretty good mark. Alright, there's my top, there's the bottom. Good mark.